The first guy that we're going to be talking about is 2024 quarterback Air Noland is closing in on a commitment, and he has Oregon in his top schools. Air Noland coming out of Langston Hughes High School in Fairburn, Georgia. He is a 4-star recruit according to the 24/7 Sports Composite, rated a .9569, number 84 prospect. All right, I'm just going to switch. I'm going to switch away from this phone. We're just going to use the laptop microphone for the remainder of today's show because my other one doesn't want to stay consistent. So hopefully there's not a huge change. I'll make sure to look at that and hopefully get it taken care of before the next show. But yeah, we roll on. We roll on no matter what happens. But yeah, back to Air Noland. He's a 2024 quarterback for that Oregon's looking at here on the recruiting trail, and he is working from a top 7 of Oregon, Alabama, Clemson, Arkansas, Miami, Ohio State, and Texas A&M. So this is a huge group, really, really talented, really, really storied programs that Oregon finds themselves going up against here for Air Noland. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get some highlights on for you guys so you can see who it is that I'm talking about. All right, here we go. We got Air Noland, 2024 quarterback out of Georgia. So what's the story with Air Noland? He's working towards a commitment, and that commitment date is on April 8th. So we got just a little bit over a week until Air Noland decides to make his college commitment. And this is a guy that Will Stein and the Oregon Ducks offered not too long ago. I want to say the offer came less than a month ago, and Oregon is still in the mix. But the thing is, he's already visited a lot of his finalists, and he has yet to take a trip out to Oregon, which, as you would expect, kind of leads me to believe that Oregon could be on the outside looking in. Air Noland did take some recent trips to Miami as well as Texas A&M, and then he's also already been to Arkansas and Clemson. Steve Wiltfong of 247 Sports, who does an awesome job, he is reporting that he has trips locked into Ohio State and Alabama ahead of his commitment, and he could possibly get out to Eugene. So, like I mentioned, I feel like Oregon's kind of on the outside looking in with Air Noland, but if they're able to get him onto campus for a visit, I think that could maybe shake things up a little bit, make things a little bit interesting in this recruitment. However, I don't believe that Air Noland is one of the top guys on Oregon's board at quarterback here in the 2024 class. As we all know, Dylan Raiola is really the top guy that Oregon is looking to go after out of Pinnacle High School in the Phoenix area. He's going to be on campus for the spring game. But what's an interesting update on Dylan Raiola is that Steve Wiltfong, who I just referenced, flipped his crystal ball prediction from USC to Georgia today on Thursday, which could be an indicator that he may be leaning back towards the defending champion Bulldogs. But as we know, with quarterback recruiting with Oregon, I talked about Air Noland on a recent episode of Locked On Ducks with Spencer McLaughlin. You have Dylan Raiola right there at the top of Oregon's board at quarterback. You also have Michael Van Buren, who plays his high school football at St. Francis Academy in Baltimore, Maryland. I think I saw a report today that he locked in an official visit to Penn State. If you guys have been listening to the show for a while, I've been reporting that Penn State looks like one of the main threats to Oregon here in their pursuit of Michael Van Buren. And then you have Luke Moga, also out of Arizona. You have Will Hammond, the Texas Tech commit out of the Lone Star State. So names like that are ones that you're going to have to keep an eye on. And I think just given that Oregon would love to get Raiola, I mean, any school would want to get Raiola in a perfect world, right? Or Van Buren. I really do feel like those guys are a little bit higher up on Oregon's list for quarterbacks here in the 2024 cycle. But you never know. I mean, would Oregon maybe want to take 2 quarterbacks in the 2024 class? I don't think that it would be a terrible idea. Especially because this is Bo Nix's last year of college football, and then the quarterback room behind him is largely unproven. Ty Thompson's been around the program for 2 years. but we haven't totally seen him put it together just yet. Austin Novosad joins the program in spring football as an early enrollee after playing in the Adidas All-American Bowl. He's a longtime Baylor commit that Will Stein flipped after getting hired to join Dan Lanning's staff. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting thing to look at for Oregon. I think what we could see happen is Oregon gets a 2024 prep quarterback, and then maybe they go back to the transfer portal to get their guy to replace Bo Nix. There's a lot of different theories that you can look at here when it comes to recruiting the quarterback position. Not necessarily a position that Oregon has knocked out of the park. I think that you could say that they've done that with a lot of positions in recent years. You look at offensive line as probably being one of the main ones that they've really, really excelled at. Running back as well. Wide receiver is on the up and up. But quarterback has really kind of been up and down and kind of a question mark. I don't think that Oregon has reached that point as a college football power that you would maybe expect them to be at, where you can say, oh, whatever, it doesn't really matter how deep this class is. I think Oregon's going to get a top guy. They certainly have had their big names come through, like Ty Thompson, who we mentioned. Dante Moore was committed to Oregon for a long time until Kenny Dillingham took the job at Arizona State. And then we all know how that one ended up. So maybe Air Noland, if he gets out to maybe when he does get out to Eugene, if he gets out to Eugene, they have that conversation. And then maybe we kind of get a better feel for how many quarterbacks Oregon ultimately wants to take in 2024. Because like I'm saying, I don't know that he is at where he really stands on Oregon's board, especially coming out of the state of Georgia, not necessarily a state that Oregon's super well connected to on the recruiting trail. So going to have to keep an eye on it. Air Noland, we'll see if he gets out to Eugene ahead of his commitment on April 8th. Got a couple questions here. One from Mark. Is Oregon the only Pac-12 and West Coast school in its top 7? Yes, they are, which is really a recurring theme when it comes to a lot of top-tier guys. Certainly from the East Coast or from the South, for the longest time, you would just see Oregon. Maybe now you're seeing Oregon and USC with Lincoln Riley running that operation over there in LA. Out here in my neck of the woods, I'm in Long Beach. But usually it's Oregon and USC. You're seeing UCLA kind of up there with some guys, Stanford as well. Oregon's the lone West Coast school pursuing Air Noland. Just think of the NIL opportunities, the marketing opportunities with a guy whose nickname is Air playing for Oregon with the Ducks, with the flight and everything that they want to do with that. That would be amazing.